What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hello, Cassie E. already in the chat. Here's hoping for another solid episode today. Like always, I will say I'm watching on Paramount Plus, which is usually a minute behind anybody watching on CBS, and I will be typing away probably. Hello, Exotic Butterfly. Welcome back. All right, mine is beginning with Eva in the hospital. It's hard to see, Ted being the only one at Leslie's side, but I guess that's how it goes. Hello, Leo. Welcome back. Hello, Miss Blue. Welcome back. Leslie loves to say that she taught Eva how to fight. Leah says Eva's sitting up way too high to be unconscious. Maybe that's how the nurse wanted her to sit. I mean, they're putting a lot on Kat. Martin's still going off. I'm glad Martin is thanking Shanice because she did do a lot during the tornado. I mean, we all know that Martin's not going to be a match. Hello, Zachariah. Welcome back. Zachariah excited that Kyle is back. I would prefer Kyle Abbott. Hello, Kaiwan. Guess it's an Ashley day. As I said last week, if we don't have to deal with trash, we gotta deal with Ashley. I mean, if I was Nicole telling the story, I would say a tree fell on my son Martin. This Kyle and Nicole relationship, which is not even a relationship, can never grow because all they do is fuck. I guess there was one time they just sat together, but like I'm not exactly invested in it. Hello, Dee Dee. Hello, Bobby. Hello, GB, who is already annoyed, who says, Nicole is not at the hospital, but asking Kyle to come over. What kind of writing is this? I guess they want to write Nicole like trash. I don't know. She's just so sexually liberated. Doesn't care about Martin being in the hospital. Hello, Chizen, if I'm saying that right, who says Martin is not Kat's sister here, and to Eva, and he's no right bullying Kat. Martin does like to throw shade at Kat. Denise, however, hello, is tired of Kat crying. I think they've done a pretty good job of Kat's point of view with all of this. It really shouldn't fall on her. Though I do think that Kat stands hate Eva too much. Dee Dee says the sisters are all about sex. They are writing Nicole and Danny that way these days. Z Hicks says Kyle booing up with Nicole. It's too bad they don't do more than that so that I could actually be invested in them. Big Brother, 3 weeks away. Ugh, not starting again with Jan and Ashley. Ashley working like she worked so hard after the tornado when Shanice did all the work. Kaiwan, I would prefer Isaiah in a triangle with Haley and Bale or Haley and someone than a triangle with Eva and Kat in it again because the first one bombed. Cassie says we don't need Ashley or Jan on this episode, and I agree. Kaiwan says like a white woman about Ashley taking the credit for all the work. Not Shanice stuck with Leslie. Of course, Shanice, the bigger person. Martin's still going off on Kat. At least Isaiah calling Kat out on some of her actions. Points made by Kat. Kat's going to get it from all angles today. Sorry, taking notes, and then I'll check the chat. Z Hicks says Kyle may be a random match for Eva. Dad, no, I don't think so. Although I do feel like they should do a better job of tying Kyle as a character. But Eva don't look mixed to me. Kaiwan says Kat is a medical child, but she's afraid of hospitals. DGF says, tardy, I lost track of time. Hello, DGF. Welcome back. Bobby says, that's the first time I've seen Isaiah angry. True. Well, he was angry with his dad one time, but he's angrier this time, acting-wise. Aaliyah says maybe Kat had to undergo a lot of medical stuff as young, and that's true if she was a miracle baby. Dee Dee says, yes, legit points. I hope she's not a match. I hope they come up with someone else. And Ember's Kelly's welcome, who says, I hope Nicole's a match. I mean, that is the twist. If there's going to be a twist, is that Nicole is the match. Maybe questioning some DNA. I mean, Dee Dee, I agree, but I still don't see Eva being Kyle's daughter. And even if she is, I would think it would be stupid. Kaiwan says, Kat, I believe, is angry and scared. I mean, I think Kat has the right to be both angry because it's Eva and scared because she has shown in the past that she doesn't like to be tested for medical stuff. I feel nothing for Kyle and Nicole. Bobby, I've never seen Dr. Giggles. Dee Dee says it's like they always go against Kat. They do always go against Kat and the family. Dee Dee, I have no idea where Carlton is. We might never see him again. Hello, Daniel Hankins. Welcome. I'm all right. How are you? Are you in the central time zone or the west or mountain? Honestly, Isaiah had a point there because Kat does love to act like she has the moral high ground. The only downside of this story is that people have to get along with Leslie. GB says, sorry, I'm over Kat. Don't bring up Eva sleeping with Tomas, but you took him back. Isaiah was right to go off on her. Yeah, Kat sweeping the Tomas stuff under the rug is why I could never agree with her on that point. I'll get to the chat in a second, just finishing up some notes. Let's see. Embers Kelly says, I blame Tomas for the situation. If your boyfriend says he was confused and thought you ended the relationship, are you really going to blame the girl he slept with? Exactly. Was never on Kat's side in that. I hated that entire triangle storyline, though. Bobby Wobby says, giving Leslie a nurse uniform is dumb as hell. Yeah, especially since you can run amok in the hospital with the uniform. Danielle's in the Western time zone. That's where I used to be. Doc Backhand says, Kat needs to realize it is not all about her. Lord. Fair. Cassie says, I don't like how they're making Kat feel guilty. Being an organ donor is a choice. I also agree. I like how everybody's on different sides of this. Aaliyah says, it was dumb, but she was trying to be nice. Is that regarding the nurse uniform? Embers Kelly says, I don't know why she said Eva helped cover up 2 murder attempts, especially since Eva found out after the fact. And even with that knowledge, they couldn't legally contain Leslie. I think it's because Eva did hide the evidence that one time, but then Kat stupidly brought the evidence back. Cassie says it's a choice Kat doesn't want to make at this point. Cassie E says, I don't know how to feel about Kat because I'm kind of summer in this situation that I don't get along with my half sister either. So I don't know what I would do if that were my sister. Fair point. You know, throughout the year and however many months this show has been on, I feel like a lot of people in the comments have talked about these difficult situations with their half sibling. I'm an only child, so it's hard for me to see that side of things. Dee Dee says, think about how she didn't want to be tested when it came to her own life, which is why I am giving Kat some grace here. Hello, Franco. Welcome. The episode is good today, I would say. Janice Shield says, all hell would, and welcome, said, all hell would break loose and everybody would get a restraining order if I would let Ted, Isaiah Martin, and Leslie attach and antagonize me into getting tested for Eva. Leslie is crazy. She is crazy. Kaiwan, I think that's what Isaiah was trying to tell her about her moral high ground. Doc Backhand said, instead of Nicole getting frisky with Kyle, she needs to be at the hospital dealing with her daughter Kat. Instead, she's just trash junior. Mermaid Reviews, welcome, said, I still didn't like that Eva was fine with sleeping with Tomas the day he left Kat. But also, Tomas never gets the blame for that. Embers Callie says it is Kat's choice. She's scared. I'm an Eva fan, and this is a surgery. She's also in shock. We have to remember that we're on a week and a half still going over the events of a single night. True. I don't love surgery myself. I've only had it once. I'll have to get back to the chat either in a commercial or when Ashley's back on my screen. Why is Jen worried about fucking Vanessa of all people? Wish she was yeeted by the tornado. Exotic Butterfly says, Team Cat, you and your liver go home, sis. Kathy says, since everyone is pressing Cat, I hope she is not a match. I think that's the best twist. Alice, welcome, says, been thinking, what if it turns out Cat is not a match? It's going to be all this drama for nothing. Hello, Devin, welcome. Says, Nicole being a hoe already? Oy vey, these Dupree women can't go a week without getting it, right? Trash is really rubbed off on them. Janice says, Nicole needs to be stopping these men from attacking Cat. She's too busy trying to get a man, I guess. Bobby says they didn't need Ashley for this episode. I agree. I'm not even paying attention. Valerie says, welcome. I hope Kat is not a match. Hope that someone else is. Franco thinks that Kat's definitely going to be a match. That seems to be what they're building towards, is Kat being the match. Even worse, Grayson calling Ashley. Aaliyah says trash rubbed off on Danny and Nicole, and now they're hoes. Yep. All right. Sounds like Nicole is taking this all hard. Taiwan, they definitely want to make Kyle and Nicole happen, but I just don't know. They're not writing it well. Z Hicks says, if not a match, evil will turn worse, then random searches begin. Yeah, if not a match, then that's maybe when Nicole will be. Mermaid Review says, oh yeah, Tomas was wrong, but it takes two, and Kat's the only one mad about it, so I was mad at both. Kat's body is her choice. I would have went home. Yeah, but Kat's never been mad at Tomas about it. She was mad for like a half an episode. Bobby says they should make Carlton a match just to get Ted's reaction. I mean, I would buy Carlton being Eva's father before Kyle. Maybe Carlton's just always stalked Ted's women, always wanted what Ted had, found out he slept with Leslie and slept with her too. There she hoes. I mean, there she goes. I mean, it's been a good week for the Ted and Kat relationship. Dee said that's what the writers want. They need more creative thought. What do you think the writers want? Doc Backhand says Samantha and Terrell are at Nicole's. Will she hit it with her grandkids in the house? I forgot that's where they were. Yuck. I lost my place in the chat because I'm so behind. Devin said, "Oh man, I thought the tornado sucked up Grayson. I wish it didn't suck up anybody. It needed to suck up." Hello, Phoenix Rising. Welcome back. Cassie E says, "I meant to say similar situation in the way that I don't get along with my half sister since our mother passed away." Embers Kelly said, "I need Nicole from the beginning of season one back. Her character has turned so much." Yeah, I don't know why she's been a hoe this year at all. Cassie says, "I have to say it again. Ashley and her mama are not needed on this episode. They really haven't been." Hello, Danilyn, who says, "Kat was willing to ask Andre to get tested, but wouldn't do so herself. Highly hypocritical." Dee Dee said, "Yes, we say Nicole is a great parent. I question that, especially when it comes to her so called miracle child." I don't say Nicole's a great parent. Devin, I have no idea what happened to Jan's boyfriend, Owen. They just dropped that. Though it probably would have been better than anything we've seen Ashley do for months. Dee Dee says Nicole's not at the hospital, but she could think she's with Tomas. That's true. How could Nicole know that Tomas would just drop Kat like he always does to do something else or someone else? Cassie E says, "I want Nicole to have like a TV of some sort so that when she could stop being a whore." Is that what you're saying? You're saying she needs to watch TV instead of fucking Kyle, especially if her grandkids are there. Kathy says the writing sucks. Devin says, "I think Carlton should be revealed as Kat's dad." I mean, that would be the time to do it, right? When Ted and Kat's relationship is finally looking better. Taiwan thinks Trash has too much influence on Danny and Nicole. Dee Dee says, "Let's not forget Carlton noticed Nicole before Ted. Ted sent him in a different direction." Exactly. And then maybe Carlton learned about Leslie and wanted her too. Maybe Carlton's character is that psycho. Bobby thought Owen and Grayson was going to be the same person. Jenna says Nicole cries so that she can have sex. At least Kat is crying for a real reason and not to get sex. The writers are fools. Cassie E says, "Are they going to put this on their Emmy room for next year?" I mean, the tornado should be. The tornado episode and that cotillion episode, I think it could give the other soaps a run for their money. Mermaid Review says, "What if Eva's stepdad was her real dad the whole time?" I think that would be a little too anticlimactic. Aaliyah says, "Yeah, but Nicole was never with Carlton. It wouldn't make sense for him to be Kat's father." True. Exotic Butterfly says, "Martin acts like he didn't take a life whilst he was going off on Kat about saving one." Fair. Cassie E says, no, I meant STD. You forgot what you said. Oh, instead of TV. I mean, the way they have some of these people be hoeing out on this show for the past year and a half, you would think they would maybe get an STD. Dee Dee says Carlton doesn't have to be her father to be a match, but then where's the drama in that if he is a match? Elias says they need to do a condom commercial. I'm sure Procter and Gamble has to make a condom to put in one of these episodes, like the Tide. Miss Blue says Nicole is not a great parent. For a cat to be her miracle child, she is rarely on her side. Martin is her favorite child. Yeah, I've never got the animosity Nicole seems to have towards her miracle child. Phoenix says Martin took a life in self defense, though. Devin says Nicole gets a TV sounds more entertaining than Ashley and Grayson getting back together. Couldn't agree more. Or just Ashley being on the TV right now. I like them bringing up that Eva is quite the reader to reminisce here from Leslie. Embers Kai said, maybe Nicole thinks Kat's too sensitive, a bit high strung at times in comparison to Martin or herself. Nicole could be quite cold sometimes. Good question, Doc Backhand. Will Tomas get tested? Who used to be besties with Eva? Leslie crying today with real tears. No, I doubt Tomas would be the match. At least I hope not. I don't even think he has a liver. He's a fucking robot. I don't know. I get what Kat is saying, but she's also so selfish a lot of times. Doc Backhand said, but Nicole is trained in psychoanalysis and may be able to help Kat realize the end results of her actions or non actions. I mean, yeah, Nicole should be there. Miss Blue, poor Eva. This is Leslie's karma for all of the horrible things that she has done. Leslie needs to become a better person when Eva gets her transplant. But of course, she won't. I just hope she gets a point. If she's going to continue to annoy everyone, she better have a better point. Yes, Devin. Tomas is a robot. How could he be the match? Kaiwan says this is the most logical thing I've ever seen Kat say. Kat has logic, although she's been too selfish over the year. Ember's Callier said Leslie was named the villain going in. Any goodness she has is temporary for this situation. Doc Backhand has an eye roll for the pity party for Kat. Z Hicks says Leslie needs to pray for forgiveness and help. She started to pray with Isaiah. Phoenix Rising is sick of Kat. Ember's Callie says those prayers won't go higher than the ceiling if Leslie prays. Aaliyah says it's so hard. I feel bad for Eva, but Kat is being a little selfish in a life or death situation. It's her choice, but I would think she would want to help. Hello, WD We Explore and Chill, who says, I'm not on Kat's side this time. Eva is dying and Kat needs to grow the fuck up. Kat does have a hard time growing up. Dee Dee says Kat was calling it like it is. She definitely knows her mother, Nicole. Cassie E says Kat can help Eva and then afterwards have no contact with her ever again. Yeah, but like, what are the odds of that happening? Not having contact again. I'm sure Eva's going to want to be thankful for that. Bobby says maybe Heather can find Eva a matching liver for her price. If only they knew she was the impaler. Exotic Butterfly says Leslie would be taunting Kat and the Duprees if the situation were reversed. I agree with that, but I also think Eva would do this without doubt if the situation was reversed. DGF says, as I think back on selfish soap opera divas, even the worst had soft spots. Dorian Lord, the Kramer women, Erica Kane, her mother. It took Samantha Brady a long time to not be selfish on Days of Our Lives. Dee Dee says Kat has a reason to feel the way she does. She's the only one that didn't get amnesia. Hello, Anita's, who says that's a tough decision. It is. Cassie E says, I bet you Jacob could convince Kat, maybe, setting up their possible lovin'. I guess these two aren't going to do it, thankfully. DGF says if they're going to write Kat as a villain, make her a conniving, money-hungry villain. I mean, I feel like this show likes to write most of their characters as gray rather than white or black, but I feel like that's what they're doing with Kat. I wouldn't consider Kat a villain. Miss Blue says Kat needs to go home, take a shower, and get some rest, sleep on it. What if she wakes up and Eva's dead? Anita says, I don't think she is Ted's daughter. Mermaid Reviews says, someone said if Laura was around more, Kat could use this to get Leslie to confess to what she did to Laura or have Laura be a match. That would have been a great way of adding some more drama to all of this. Doc Backhand says, Sammy Brady was a blue-collar Kat Richardson. I mean, honestly, Sammy had a bit of both Kat and Eva in her when she was younger. Cassie says, well, Kat, well said, but nobody cares about her feelings. But remember, y'all, Leslie said they don't need Kat, so true. I'm not even paying attention to Ashley Didi. No Devin, no sex for Nicole today, actually. DGF never seen Knots Landing. Empress Kelly said, not gonna lie, seeing Ashley in today's episode feels like it could have been pushed to another week or just pushed off the show. Phoenix says, yes, Eva would have helped Brat if the roles were reversed. I agree. Well, Leslie apologizing for something. All of you saying enough of Ashley, DGF. Have we not seen enough whining and crying from Ashley? Apparently not. I don't know who thinks we have to see this all the time. Kaiwan, I prefer Sammy over Carly. I have enjoyed the Leslie stuff today. I know people hate her some Leslie. Zachariah, what about the Nicole scene? They just decided to sleep instead of sleep together. Devin, I know you watched the show for Nicole to be in bed. Dee says, "Well, at least Nicole stopped herself. Danny didn't." Facts. Miss Blue says, "Every scene that Ashley is in should be deleted." Yes. It's a tough question for Ted. I don't know how a father feels between their two daughters that are half siblings. I agree, Z Hicks. I've enjoyed Leslie today. Let's see if I could find my place in the chat. Cassie says they should have written Ashley and Jen off the show instead of Doug and Derek. Yes, the show does it struggles with those kind of decision making. Janice says, Leslie, confess your sins against everybody. Yeah, if she wants to pray for Eva, that's what she should do. DGF says Leslie has gone to a more authentic place in this scene other than hamming it up. Yeah, she was hamming it up the other day. I didn't mind it though, since a lot of it was arguing with Kat. But in this episode, it was more realistic and down to earth. Dee Dee says the Ashley parts are fillers. It is. Cassie E says she really wanted to be that cold and heartless, like for real. Wow. Yeah, Zachariah, they just are going to sleep in bed. Bobby Wobby says Ted and Kat's conversation is really good today. It is. I've enjoyed everything today. Well, that's not true. Not Ashley, obviously, but also the Kyle and Nicole stuff. Eh. Phoenix Rising loves Leslie. WDW Explorer and Chill says she won't be able to forgive herself. That is the thing. Yeah, that is something she would have to live with, which is why somebody else in the chat earlier said Nicole should be there to talk to her about this. Miss Blue says, Catherine Cat Richardson, please get tested. Cassie E says Hurricane Sammy. Sammy was great in the 90s and early 2000s. Didi says Ted seems more connected to Eva, but in this case, he doesn't want to lose his other daughter. I feel like they've done a good job with these Ted and Cat scenes this past week. Alice says, wait, am I hearing wrong? Did Leslie just accidentally admit to Eva that the stepfather was really her biological father? I didn't hear that. I just think she was saying that Eva deserved better than the stepfather and that she should have told Eva that Ted was her father a long time ago because Ted is a good man. Dee says, makes you think about those who unselfishly donate. Yeah, there's some good people. Cassie E says, is Leslie going to have to confess what she did to Laura in order for her to do it? That would be a good twist on things. DGF says, I can't remember. Was Nicole told about Eva? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Aaliyah says, I'm just glad Kyle decided to just comfort Nicole. I agree. It was not the time for some hoeing. It's too bad they gave this away in the preview. Ted is asking a lot. Well, we definitely had some really good scenes today, I think, overall. Definitely some stuff I could have done without, but definitely some good scenes too. Let's see what y'all are saying before I have to go. Embers Callie says Nicole doesn't know about Eva being in the hospital. Z Hicks says Leslie really thinks Ted is the father, but deep down she knows Ted is not. DGF says the irony of Leslie walking around Garland in scrubs. I know, right? Kaiwan says the psychological damage of Kat in their decision not to give Eva part of a liver. Yes. Aaliyah says, wow, that last scene, crying emoji. The Ted and Kat scenes were great again today. DGF says Kat needs to take a tumble down the stairs. Embers Kelly says, I think Ted is the father, though. Story wise, it would be weird for him not to be. Yeah. Aaliyah says, even though I knew what she was going to say, it was the way the whole scene came together. True. DGF says, woo, my eyes are stinging. Miss Blue, let's see. Cassie says, some of y'all are so mean over this fictional show. Who was mean? I mean, I can be mean, especially when it comes to Tomas or Trash. Dee Dee says, if they find another match, Kat will never hear the end of it, so I'd rather her be tested and not a match. Bobby says, I don't think the original Ted could have pulled that scene off. No, that's true. He couldn't have. Embers Callie says, makes me think of Abraham sacrificing his son in the Bible, but there was a ram in the bush. It was about faith. Devin says, Ted's the man. He can get eye level with the ram. DGF says, if Kat were unconscious, she couldn't consent to testing and could fake being unconscious. You think she would have to fake being unconscious to do the right thing? All right. I guess I shall go and do my review. Thank you, Phoenix. Let's see what Embers Kelly said before I go. What if Kat is a match and at the last minute they find another match and she doesn't have to donate? That's a possibility. DGF says, I'd rather be mean to fictional characters than in real life, though. Good point. I mean, I'm mean to both when I cover my reality shows. And on that note, I'll catch y'all later and hopefully back tomorrow. Thank you all for joining me again. Glad it's been definitely a good week this week. I think I've enjoyed it more this week than last week, even though we had a tornado last week.